My name is Isla, 26 now, but this story starts when I was 14. My so-called best friend, Corinne, was the sun. Everyone revolved around her, and she loved making sure I stayed in the shade. She'd whisper, "You'd be invisible without me." Maybe that was true once, but shadows grow longer when the light fades. And I was patient. What Corinne never realized was that while she was busy performing for everyone else, I was watching, learning, and quietly building something she could never touch. She thought she owned me, controlled me, defined me. She had no idea that shadows remember everything, and mine was about to swallow her whole. I'm standing in the wings of our high school auditorium, heart pounding as I watch the director scan the hopeful faces lined up for Romeo and Juliet auditions. This is it, my chance to finally step out of Corinne's shadow. I've been practicing Juliet's balcony scene for weeks, memorizing every inflection, every pause. For once, I want to be the one people remember. Then Corinne strolls in 20 minutes late, designer backpack slung over her shoulder, that effortless smile already working its magic. The director's eyes light up like she spotted a celebrity. I feel my stomach drop as whispers ripple through the other kids. "Corinne's here." She doesn't even need to audition properly. Within minutes, she's Juliet and I'm cast as the nurse, again playing second fiddle to her spotlight. After rehearsal, she wraps me in one of her theatrical hugs. "See, Isla, you're so much better when you're supporting me," she announces loud enough for everyone to hear. The other kids chuckle, but I don't. I smile and nod because that's what I always do. But something cold settles in my chest. That night, staring at my reflection in my bedroom mirror, I make a quiet promise to myself. Never again. It's my 15th birthday, and I've planned everything perfectly. The decorations are hung, the playlist is ready, and I'm wearing a dress I saved 3 months to buy. A beautiful deep blue number that makes me feel confident for once. Then, Corinne arrives an hour late, gliding through my front door in an almost identical dress, except hers is clearly designer and mine is obviously from Target. The difference is embarrassing, and she knows it. Within minutes, my birthday party becomes the Corinne show. My guests cluster around her, asking about her dress, her hair, her everything, while I stand by the snack table watching my special day dissolve. When it's time to blow out my candles, she cups her hands around her mouth and shouts, "Make a wish to finally be noticed." Everyone erupts in laughter, like it's the funniest joke they've ever heard. I force a smile and make my wish, but inside I'm burning with humiliation. Later, as guests start leaving, she corners me by the gift table. "Don't pout, birthday girl," she whispers with mock sympathy. "Without me, you wouldn't have had anyone worth inviting." That night, lying in bed, surrounded by crumpled wrapping paper, I start keeping mental receipts. Every insult, every cruel comment, every moment she makes me feel small, I file it all away. I'm done being grateful for crumbs. Just before you continue to watch, please subscribe to this channel and like this video. It would encourage and help us keep creating amazing content for you. All right, back to the story. Spring brings new torture when I finally work up the courage to tell Corinne about my crush on Milo from our history class. He's quiet, thoughtful, with these incredible green eyes that make my stomach flutter whenever he looks my way. I've been watching him for months, hoping he might notice me, and I foolishly believe Corinne when she listens with practiced sympathy, nodding and squeezing my hand. "He's really cute. I bet he likes you too. You should totally go for it." I'm so grateful to have her support that I miss the calculating gleam in her eyes. Exactly 1 week later, she shows up at school holding Milo's hand, her smile radiant as she leads him down the hallway like a prize she's won. In math class, she leans over and whispers directly in my ear, "He only knew you existed because I told him about you. You're welcome." The words hit me like a physical blow, and I have to grip my desk to keep from shaking. That night, alone in my room with tears streaming down my face, I create a new folder on my laptop. I label it simply C. It's time to start collecting more than just memories. Corinne has just taught me that information is power, and I'm about to become a very good student. The folder starts innocent enough. Screenshots of text messages where Corinne says one thing to me and something completely different to her other friends. Like when she tells me I love my new haircut, but texts Jenny that I look like I stuck my finger in an electrical socket. Then it grows. I start recording her late night phone rants about people she pretends to love, saving photos of her sneaking out past curfew, documenting every lie she tells her parents about where she's going and who she's with. I become invisible in the best way possible. A shadow with eyes and ears, always watching, always listening. She never suspects quiet little Isla is building a comprehensive case against her perfect image. My phone becomes my weapon, capturing audio recordings of her talking trash about her friends, screenshots of her cruel group chats, photos of her breaking rules she pretends to follow. Slowly, methodically, I construct a version of Corinne that no one else knows exists. The real one. The one who smiles while stabbing people in the back. The one who feeds on making others feel worthless. The one who's about to learn that shadows have perfect memory even when the light tries to forget. Junior year's talent show arrives, and naturally Corinne volunteers to host. She turns it into her personal comedy roast, making cutting remarks about every performer while they're on stage. The audience laughs, but I can see the hurt in kids' eyes as she mocks their efforts. She's particularly cruel to Maya, a shy sophomore who sings slightly off-key. "Well, that was certainly something," she says into the microphone, her timing perfect for maximum humiliation. The crowd roars with laughter while Maya's face crumbles. But I've been preparing for this moment for months. Earlier, I slipped one of Corinne's cruelest text screenshots into the slideshow rotation. One where she mocks her so-called best friend by name, calling me pathetic and desperate for attention. When it flashes on the giant screen behind her, the entire auditorium goes silent. Gasps ripple through the crowd as they read her vicious words. Corinne freezes mid-sentence, her perfect smile cracking for just a second before she laughs it off as a technical glitch. But I see it. The first real crack in her flawless mask. Her eyes dart around the audience, searching for the source of her humiliation. When her gaze lands on me, sitting innocently in the back row, I give her the slightest smile. For the first time in our twisted friendship, I'm not the one being humiliated. And it feels absolutely intoxicating. After the talent show disaster, Corinne corners me by the lockers. Her usual sweet mask completely gone. Her blue eyes are ice cold as she presses closer, and I can smell her vanilla perfume mixed with the sharp scent of her anger. The hallway around us has gone quiet, other students sensing the tension and slowing down to watch. I tilt my head and give her my most innocent expression, the one I've perfected over years of taking her abuse. "Why would I do that? You're the star, remember? I'm just your shadow." The words taste bitter but satisfying as they leave my mouth. Her eyes narrow as she studies my face, looking for any crack in my performance, any sign of guilt or triumph. She doesn't have proof, can't have proof, but for the first time in our twisted friendship, she suspects me. She suspects that quiet, harmless Isla might not be as powerless as she appears. The realization shifts something fundamental between us. I'm no longer just the loyal sidekick who absorbs her cruelty without complaint. I'm a potential threat, and we both feel it crackling in the air between us. As she stalks away, shoulders rigid with frustration, I allow myself a small, private smile. The game has officially begun, and for once, I'm not the one playing defense. By senior year, Corinne is secretly dating Derek, a college sophomore with a car and an apartment, the kind of scandalous relationship that makes her feel sophisticated and worldly. She loves bragging to me about their secret dates, showing me pictures of his expensive gifts, making me swear to keep quiet about their relationship. She says, "My parents would freak if they knew. They think I'm too young, but they just don't understand how mature I am." I nod and play the role of loyal confidant, while secretly documenting everything. When I snap a picture of them together at the mall, her pressed against his side, both of them laughing, I know exactly what will happen next. I upload it anonymously to the school's gossip Instagram account with a simple caption: "Guess who's dating a college guy?" Within hours, the entire school is buzzing with the news. Her friends are calling her parents, demanding explanations. Her mother shows up at school furious and humiliated. Derek, faced with the drama and unwanted attention, dumps her via text that same afternoon. I find her crying in the bathroom, mascara streaming down her perfect cheeks, looking more vulnerable than I've ever seen her. I hand her tissues and rub her back while she sobs about betrayal and unfairness, all while biting my tongue to keep from smiling. "I don't understand why someone would do this to me," she chokes out between tears. I murmur the right sympathetic sounds, filing away her pain as another receipt in my growing collection. Something fundamental shifts after the Derek incident. Corinne's usual, unshakable confidence starts showing hairline cracks. Her comments about me become sharper but less steady, like she's trying to convince herself as much as anyone else. During lunch one day, when I casually disagree with her about something trivial, she snaps. "Careful, Isla," she says, her voice carrying across our table. "You're nothing without me. Don't forget that." But her hands tremble slightly as she speaks, and there's a desperate edge to her voice that I've never heard before. The other kids at our table shift uncomfortably, sensing the tension. That's when I realize the truth that changes everything. She's not untouchable anymore. All those years of being her perfect audience, her loyal shadow, her constant source of validation, I've been her foundation. And foundations can crumble if you know where to apply the right pressure. She's starting to suspect that I'm not as harmless as I've always pretended to be, but she can't cut me off without looking paranoid and unstable. She needs me more than I need her now, and we both know it. The power dynamic between us is shifting like sand, and I'm the one controlling the tide. For the first time in our friendship, she is afraid of me, and I discover that I like that feeling far more than I should. College application season arrives, with all its stress and competition, and Corinne has her sights set firmly on the Ivy League. Her essays are polished and dramatic, full of inspiring stories about overcoming adversity and finding her voice. They're also completely plagiarized from a college prep website I find after just 10 minutes of searching. She's barely changed the words, just swapped in her own details. Sloppy and arrogant. So typical Corinne. She assumes she's too smart to get caught, too special for rules to apply to her. One night, while she's probably celebrating her brilliant writing with her parents, I submit a detailed anonymous tip to her top choice university's admissions office. I include screenshots of the original essays, direct links to the sources, side-by-side comparisons highlighting the plagiarism, everything they need to verify her academic dishonesty. The evidence is damning and undeniable. Months later, when her rejection letter arrives, she's devastated. She calls me sobbing, ranting about unfair bias and jealous admissions officers who clearly don't recognize true talent. I make all the right sympathetic noises, offering tissues and comfort, while secretly savoring every tear. She never suspects that her destruction came from someone sitting right beside her, holding her hand while she fell apart. The irony is absolutely delicious. She's so convinced of her own superiority that she can't imagine quiet little Isla being capable of such calculated revenge. Winter formal becomes another battlefield in our silent war. I spend weeks finding the perfect dress, a stunning deep red silk that makes me feel beautiful and confident for once in my life. But when Corinne arrives at the dance, my heart sinks into my stomach. Her gown is almost identical to mine, except hers is obviously more expensive, more elegant, more everything. She laughs when she sees me standing by the punch table, not even trying to hide her satisfaction at upstaging me once again. Guess you'll always be the knockoff version, huh, Isla? She says loud enough for nearby couples to hear. A few people chuckle awkwardly, not knowing how to respond to such obvious cruelty. But I've learned patience over the years. And tonight, I'm ready. Halfway through the evening, while she's posing for pictures with her date, her drink somehow spills all over her perfect white dress. The red punch spreads across the fabric like blood. And for the first time all night, people are staring at me instead of her. The girl who stayed beautiful while the queen got destroyed. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I gasped, rushing to help her with a handful of napkins. It was a total accident. But it wasn't an accident. Nothing I do anymore is an accident. Watching her try to clean the stain while fighting back tears of rage and humiliation is worth every careful moment of planning I put into this moment. The ultimate betrayal comes when Corinne starts dating Milo, my old crush from sophomore year, the one she stole from me so casually. She drags the relationship out for months, making sure I see them together constantly, her way of twisting the knife and reminding me that she can take anything she wants from my life. But I've learned that patience always provides opportunities if you watch carefully enough. One warm spring night, I'm reading by my bedroom window when I hear them fighting in her driveway after their date. The night air carries their voices perfectly, and she's being classic Corinne, cruel and cutting, tearing him apart word by word when he tries to disagree with her about something minor. Her voice turns vicious as she calls him pathetic, tells him he's lucky she even bothers with someone like him, says things that would destroy anyone's self-esteem. Every poisonous word is captured perfectly by my phone's voice recorder as I lean against my windowsill. The next morning, I send the audio file to Milo anonymously with a simple message. This is what she really thinks of you. He listens to 20 minutes of verbal abuse from the girl he thought cared about him. By lunch, he breaks up with her in the cafeteria, his voice shaking with hurt and anger as he tells her exactly what he thinks of her true character. She screams at him, demanding to know who recorded them, but he just walks away. Everyone stares as her perfect mask finally slips completely in public, revealing the monster underneath. The beautiful thing about being someone's shadow is that people expect you to be invisible, unimportant, harmless. To the outside world, I remain Corinne's loyal best friend. I carry her books between classes, laugh at her jokes during lunch, pose for pictures with my arm around her shoulder at school events. She suspects me now. I can see it in the way her eyes follow me, the questions that linger behind her smile, but she can't cut me off without looking completely paranoid and unhinged. That becomes the sweetest part of my revenge. I'm systematically destroying her from right beside her, and she's powerless to stop it without destroying herself. Every time she looks at me, I can see the question burning behind her eyes. Is it you? Are you the one ruining my life piece by piece? But she can never ask directly because that would mean admitting she's losing control, admitting that quiet little Isla might actually be a threat. So she smiles and pretends everything is fine while I continue pulling her world apart thread by thread. I'm the perfect friend, the loyal shadow, the innocent bystander who just so happens to be present for every disaster that befalls her. She taught me to be invisible, and now I'm using that skill to become her worst nightmare. The irony is perfect. She created the weapon that's destroying her. College acceptance letters arrive like Judgment Day, and the results flip our usual dynamic completely. Corinne ends up at a mediocre state school after her Ivy League dreams crashed and burned. I get accepted to Northwestern, not Harvard, but prestigious enough to suddenly make me the success story in our family's eyes. For the first time in our lives, our parents compare us in my favor. Isla's always been so focused and dedicated, such a bright future ahead of her. My mom tells relatives at graduation parties. I watch Corinne's jaw tighten every time someone praises my achievements or asks about my college plans. The girl who spent years making me feel worthless is finally experiencing what it's like to be overshadowed, diminished, forgotten. She calls me crying one night during summer break, her voice small and broken in a way I've never heard before. I feel like I don't matter anymore, like everyone's forgotten I exist.
she whispers into the phone. The words I want to say burn in my throat. Now you know how I felt for 4 years. But instead, I murmur comfort and reassurance because I'll always be there for her. As her shadow, her witness, her carefully hidden destroyer. Distance won't change our dynamic. If anything, it will make my next moves even easier to execute. College is going to provide me with new opportunities to perfect my craft. Northwestern gives me the perfect platform to expand my operations. I create an anonymous Instagram account with the handle @ShadowTruths, dedicated to subtle psychological warfare. The posts are artfully vague, cryptic enough to seem random, but specific enough that anyone close to Corinne will understand the references. Photos of shadows overtaking light, mirrors reflecting emptiness, roses with thorns prominently displayed. Each image is paired with captions that feel like prophecies. She smiles while she betrays you. She shines until the lights go out. Watch how quickly queens become ghosts. The account gains followers steadily. People drawn to the dark poetry and mysterious aesthetic, having no idea they're watching someone's systematic destruction unfold in real time. Back home, Corinne becomes increasingly paranoid as whispers about the mysterious account reach her ears. She changes her privacy settings, blocks random accounts, even deactivates her main profile for a week. But shadows can't be blocked or deleted. They're always there, lurking in the places light can't reach. Her friends start asking questions. Do you know who's behind this? Why do these posts feel like they're about you? The paranoia spreads like a virus through her social circle, making her jumpy and defensive. She's convinced someone is actively plotting her destruction, which isn't wrong. She just has no idea how close that someone has always been. Junior year of college brings Corinne's dream internship opportunity, a prestigious program at a Chicago marketing firm that could launch her career and restore her confidence. She's so excited, already planning how she'll reinvent herself as a successful businesswoman, how this will prove she's not the failure everyone thinks she is. But I have very different plans for her future. Over winter break, I compile her complete file. Years of screenshots showing her cruelty, recordings of her talking trash about friends, photos documenting her lies and rule-breaking, evidence of her plagiarism. Everything I've collected since that first folder labeled C. I send it all to the program director from an anonymous email address with the subject line, "Character reference for Corinne Miller." The evidence is overwhelming and impossible to dismiss. They blacklist her before she even gets a chance to interview, citing character concerns in their brief rejection email. She calls me sobbing after receiving the news, completely devastated by another door slamming in her face. "I don't understand why this keeps happening to me," she cries, her voice breaking with desperation. "It's like someone has it out for me, like I'm cursed or something." I make sympathetic noises while she falls apart over the phone, but inside I'm celebrating every tear. "Maybe," I say softly, my voice dripping with false concern, "the universe is trying to tell you something. Maybe you're just not meant for the spotlight anymore." The words hang in the air between us like a threat, wrapped in silk. Thanksgiving dinner becomes my stage for a perfectly orchestrated public humiliation. Our extended family gathers around my aunt's dining room table, and relatives naturally start asking about Corinne's college struggles. They've heard rumors through the family grapevine, seen the social media drama, wondered why such a bright, talented girl seems to be struggling so much. She tries desperately to spin her failures as bad luck and unfair treatment, painting herself as a victim of jealous classmates and biased professors. But I've been waiting for this exact moment for months. When she mentions her scholarship rejection, I casually drop in, "Well, wasn't there some kind of plagiarism issue with her essays?" The entire table goes silent. Even the sounds of chewing and clinking silverware stop. Every eye turns to Corinne, whose face drains of color before flushing bright red with humiliation. She shoots me a look across the cranberry sauce that could kill, her eyes blazing with fury and something that might actually be fear. "That was a misunderstanding," she says quickly, but her voice shakes and everyone can hear the lie. The damage is done. The family finally sees through her excuses and recognizes the cracks in her perfect image. I smile sweetly and pass the mashed potatoes, savoring the weight of her murderous stare. Let her be angry.
let her suspect. She still can't prove anything, and now everyone knows she's not the golden child she pretends to be. By senior year, Corinne's college social circle has completely collapsed. Her friends drop her one by one, too many rumors, too much drama following her around like a storm cloud that never breaks. People get exhausted by the constant chaos and controversy, tired of being associated with someone who seems to attract disaster wherever they go. During one of her visits home, she sits in my childhood bedroom looking lost and broken. "I don't understand why everyone hates me," she whispers, staring at her hands. "I try so hard to be a good friend, but people just leave." I nod sympathetically while hiding my satisfaction behind a mask of concern. I know exactly why people are abandoning her, because I've been systematically feeding her own toxicity back to everyone in her orbit. Anonymous messages to her roommates about her cruel comments, fake accounts commenting on her posts with her own words thrown back at her, carefully planted seeds of doubt about her character sent to people she's trying to befriend. I've become an expert at weaponizing her own cruelty against her, turning her into a social pariah without ever revealing my hand. She's finally experiencing the isolation I felt for years, the loneliness of being someone nobody actually wants around. The irony is poetic. She's being destroyed by the very invisibility she forced on me, crushed under the weight of shadows she taught me to inhabit. The recording that seals her fate happens by pure accident. I'm home for winter break, quietly reading in the living room when I hear Corinne on the phone in the kitchen, thinking she's alone in the house. She's ranting to some friend from college, her voice full of venom and years of pent-up frustration. I swear to God, Isla is like this jealous, obsessed shadow who won't leave me alone. She's been pathetic since we were kids, always copying me, always trying to be me, always lurking around like some creepy stalker. I should have ditched her years ago, but I felt sorry for her. She continues for 20 minutes, saying things that would obliterate any friendship if they got out, revealing the depth of contempt she's always hidden behind fake smiles. My phone captures every venomous word through the thin walls separating us. When I leaked the audio online the next day with the simple caption, "Best friend tells the truth," the internet explodes. Comments pour in faster than I can read them. "Imagine talking like this about your own best friend. She sounds like a complete sociopath. That poor Isla girl deserves so much better." Suddenly, I'm the victim, and she's the villain. People who never cared about me before are sending supportive messages, sharing the story, taking my side against the mean girl who finally got exposed. The sympathy I never received growing up is finally flowing my way in an overwhelming wave, and it feels better than I ever imagined it could. I find her one morning during spring break, standing in front of the bathroom mirror like she doesn't recognize the person staring back at her. Her usually perfect makeup is smeared, her hair unwashed and tangled, her eyes red and swollen from crying. "I don't even know who I am anymore," she whispers to her reflection, not noticing me in the doorway behind her. For just a moment, seeing her so completely broken and lost, I almost feel sorry for her. Almost remember the girl who used to be my best friend before she became my tormentor, before the cruelty and competition poisoned everything between us. But then I remember every cutting comment, every public humiliation, every time she made me feel worthless and invisible. I remember her laughing while I cried, stealing my crushes for sport, sabotaging my moments of potential happiness. The flash of pity turns to satisfaction so quickly it startles me. She's finally feeling what I felt for years. Small, forgotten, erased. She's learning what it means to live in someone else's shadow, to question your own worth, to wonder if you matter to anyone. Justice isn't always pretty or comfortable, but it's necessary. Some people need to be broken down completely before they can understand the damage they've inflicted on others. Watching her fall apart is the closest thing to closure I'm ever going to get. Then, without warning, she simply vanishes. No posts on social media, no responses to texts or calls, no signs of life in the digital world where she once reigned supreme. She stops existing online completely, like someone hit the delete button on her entire presence. Our families panic immediately. Her parents calling mine, everyone reaching out to mutual friends, filing missing person reports with campus security. I play my part perfectly, pretending to be the worried best friend while secretly wondering if I finally pushed her over the edge. Did the psychological pressure finally break her completely? Has she done something drastic and irreversible? The thought should terrify me, but instead, I feel a strange sense of accomplishment, like I've completed a masterpiece that took years to create. Maybe I finally succeeded in erasing her entirely, wiping her from existence the way she tried to do to me for so many years. The irony would be perfect.
The girl who made me feel invisible, becoming invisible. But deep down, knowing Corinne the way I do, this feels less like a surrender and more like a strategic retreat. She's planning something, regrouping for a counterattack, gathering her strength for one final battle. And unfortunately, I'm right. 2 weeks later, she resurfaces like a ghost returning from the dead, but this isn't the same Corinne who disappeared. This version is pale and hollow-eyed, 20 pounds thinner, with a haunted quality that makes everyone who sees her uncomfortable. She claims she spent the time at a wellness retreat, getting professional help for anxiety and depression, working through her toxic patterns with therapists and counselors. People welcome her back with open arms, ready to forgive everything because mental health struggles automatically make her sympathetic again. But when we're alone in my bedroom during her first visit home, she leans close and whispers in my ear, "I know it's been you all along, Isla. Every rumor, every leak, every piece of my life that's fallen apart, I know you've been destroying me piece by piece, and you're going to regret it." Her voice is different now, colder, more focused, terrifyingly calm in a way that makes my skin crawl. The old Corinne was cruel but impulsive, striking out in anger without much thought. This new version is calculating and methodical, like she spent those 2 weeks studying my methods and learning how to perfect them better than I ever could. I realize with growing dread that the game is far from over. If anything, she's just learned how to play it better than I ever could.
After her return, something deeply disturbing begins happening. Corinne starts copying me in ways that go far beyond normal imitation or inspiration. She buys clothes identical to mine, down to the exact brand and color, adopts my phrases and mannerisms, even starts mimicking my social media captions, word for word. It's like she's trying to steal my identity, to become me more successfully than I ever was myself. At first, I think it's pathetic, a desperate attempt to reclaim relevance by riding my coattails and copying my style. But then I notice something unsettling. It's actually working. People start getting us confused, mixing up our names and accomplishments, attributing things I've said to her instead. Teachers call me Corinne and her Isla. Friends repeat stories I've told but credit them to her. She's somehow managing to steal my shadow the way I stole hers, and she's doing it more effectively than I ever managed. The tables are turning in a way I never anticipated or prepared for. I spent years learning to be invisible, to blend into the background, to exist in the spaces between other people's attention. But now she's using that same invisibility against me, making herself into a better version of me than I am myself. People are starting to prefer her version to the original, and I'm slowly being erased from my own life. My carefully constructed weapon gets turned against me when my anonymous Instagram account, the one I used to systematically destroy her reputation, suddenly gets hacked. Posts start appearing that I didn't write, exposing my most embarrassing secrets and private moments with surgical precision. Pictures of me crying after bad dates, stories about my failures and insecurities, screenshots of desperate text messages I sent to crushes who ignored me. She's weaponized my own platform against me, and it's devastatingly effective. Worse yet, people believe her version of events more readily than they ever believed mine. She's learned from watching me work, understanding how to manipulate public opinion and social media algorithms better than I ever did. The account I spent years building to tear her down is now systematically destroying me instead, and I'm powerless to stop it. Comments pour in calling me obsessed, jealous, pathetic, all the things she was called just months before. The narrative is flipping completely. She's becoming the victim everyone wants to protect, and I'm transforming into the villain everyone loves to hate. She studied my methods during her disappearance, reverse-engineered my entire operation, and now she's executing it with a precision that makes my original efforts look amateur. The student has become the master, and I'm drowning in the shadows I used to control. I can't take the role reversal anymore, so I confront her in the parking lot of our old high school, abandoning all pretense of friendship and civility.
Why are you doing this to me? I demand, my voice shaking with rage and desperation that I can no longer hide. She turns slowly, and the smile on her face is nothing like the girl I grew up with. It's cold, calculated, triumphant in a way that chills me to the bones. You taught me everything I know, Isla, she says, her voice eerily calm and controlled. You showed me that shadows don't just disappear when you destroy the light. They find new places to hide, new ways to grow, new sources of power. She steps closer, and I can see something dangerous glittering in her eyes, something that wasn't there before her disappearance. You wanted to live in my light so badly that you forgot something crucial. Shadows can swallow everything if they get strong enough, hungry enough, patient enough. The words hit me like physical blows, and I realize she's right. I created this monster by teaching her my methods, by showing her how effective psychological warfare could be. She made one critical mistake, though, she continues, her smile widening. You let me see exactly how it's done. And now I'm better at being you than you ever were yourself. For the first time since this war began, I'm genuinely afraid. The game I thought I was controlling has been turned completely against me by someone who learned to play it better than I ever could. That night, I sit at my laptop with trembling hands, desperate to check my original folder, the one labeled C that contains years of carefully collected evidence against her. But when I open the final document in my most secret directory, my blood turns to ice. On the last page of my hidden notes, written in handwriting that definitely isn't mine, are the words that haunt my nightmares. She told me I'd never be more than her shadow. Now she lives in mine. My heart pounds as the horrible truth crashes over me like a tsunami. She didn't just discover my folder months or even years ago. She's been inside it all along, watching me build my case against her, documenting my own obsession and cruelty alongside hers. She scrolled frantically through files I don't remember creating, filled with evidence of my manipulation, my systematic psychological torture, and my calculated destruction of her life. She's been playing a longer game than I ever imagined, using my own weapons to build an even stronger case against me. Every move I made, every plan I executed, every moment I thought I was winning, she was there, taking notes, learning my patterns, preparing for this moment when she would flip the script entirely. As I sit in the darkness staring at words written in her familiar handwriting on my computer screen, I finally understand the truth that will destroy me. I never controlled anything. She's been the one pulling the strings all along, and I was just too blinded by my own need for revenge to see it. Maybe I really have become her shadow, and maybe, in the end, that's exactly where I belong.
If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, comment, and smash the subscribe button. Also, check out other videos on the channel. We've got more interesting stories for you.